if I said right now in the group, anyone who's ever bought a book but not finished it, just type in 1. I think you would find that everyone has done that, where they've bought a book, they paid money for it, maybe they read a chapter or 2 chapters or some of it, and then they didn't finish it. This is very, very common. And naturally what happens in life is that, life just takes over. Different things come and you prioritize things. So in a way, you might be seeing this as, this is an issue of me not being committed, or me not finishing, or me having a bad habit. But I think this is about prioritization. This is about prioritization, and this is about looking at it. And I feel like with these kind of problems, you have the psychological element of it, and then you have the physical element. Do I really want to read this book? And sometimes the answer is no, but the answer then becomes I need to. So for example, let's say I've got a job interview. Do I really want to prepare for it? No, I don't. Do I need to prepare for it? Yes, I do, because I want the job. So sometimes there's that whole need and want thing. But I think deep down you need to ask yourself, is this something I want to do? Is this something I need to do? If it is, then it's like, why do I need to do this? Why do I want to do this? Getting very, very clear on why I want it, what do I want it for, what is it going to do for me? And then after that becomes the physical action type of it. So for example, having a situation where you actually define a time, define a thing. I'll give you an example. I've come back to Morocco, I've been back for less than a week, and I was finding it very difficult to do some work. So I said, right, tomorrow at this time, I'm going to leave the house and I'm going to go to a different environment. I'm going to spend the whole day and I'm going to do this and this and this. Would you believe I found it so difficult in the last few days to do any work? As soon as I stepped out of the house, I went to that place and I basically just worked the whole day non-stop. And it was very, very practical and very productive. So sometimes changing the physical element can have a massive impact on the actual psychological side as well. But you got to ask yourself, like, are you willing to do it? And this is why I'm saying that maybe you have too many things. Maybe you have 12 books that you want to read and 18 courses and 15 shows to watch. And you need to bring it back down to 0. And you need to say, right, this week, what is my biggest priority of all these other things outside of work and outside of family? What's my number 1 priority this week? Forget trying to do 3 books or 5 books or this or that. What's my number 1 priority? And then once you define your priority, be like, okay, when am I actually going to complete this priority? When am I going to do it? Like, what's a time? What's a day? What's a place that I'm actually going to do this in? And then what I do is I also set a rule for myself. Like when I start a book, for example, on Audible, I've got like, 100 or something books that I've gone through on Audible. I would have a rule that I'm not allowed to start another book until I've completed the other book. You know, when you get that, when you get that feeling, oh, I really feel like buying this book. I'm like, no, I'm not allowed to buy the book unless I've finished the previous book. So can you imagine that you're not allowed to buy anything until you finish the previous one? And if you made that a rule for yourself, then you only have 2 choices. Either you will finish it or you will break the rule. This is what I would do. First of all, I would go clean sheet. I would say, forget everything. Family and work, important. Apart from that, what's my priority? Is it this book? Is it this course? Is it this show? What is the priority? So get clear. Do you know what that is right now for you? Like outside of work, outside of family, what's the big priority for you right now? I think part of the issue here, by the way, is that you don't have clarity. And I think you need to be very, very clear that I am going to do this time, this. Like, I think there's no clarity in your mind. It's very interesting because my father, he actually had his heart attack when he was 40. And the doctors said to him that he was very young. They said he was very young to have a heart attack. And they basically did the same thing with stents. He was in Pakistan at the time. We were living there. And one of his friends came round and he said, when I was young, I had a heart attack. But what I do now is for the last few years, all I've done is I just walk everywhere. Like the guy didn't have a car. And in Pakistan, he would just walk everywhere. But he was like thin, he was like super fit, super healthy, and his heart was amazing. So I think walking is a really, really good thing generally, especially for the heart thing. What I would do if I was you is I would start slow, but I would start with consistency. So what that means is maybe I would say, right, I would set a number of times that I'm going to go for a walk this week. The best thing is if you can just put an alarm on now, put an alarm on for a specific time, like let's say 6 o'clock, and say, get ready for the walk. Maybe you even have your book ready. Maybe you even have a list of people you're going to call. Maybe you don't even make it too long. The point is to start to make the habit.